Hello my friends, and I'm Mordecai the Great Bollocks. Ugh, I don't know how that mopey always does that. Now, if you didn't notice already, I'm not the bard, I'm the barkeep. And no, I won't give you my name. My job is to serve you your drinks and beans as long as you have money. And no, I won't play you a tune. That's what's the bard I'm paying for does, if he's here. Now unfortunately, he's not here. Something to do about going someplace to celebrate the day of Valentine's or some other rubbish. So that's why I'm left here to continue your fancy nonsense story. Now, before that, house rules first. 1. Always pay your tab. 2. Absolutely no credit. 3. No violence inside the tavern, or I'll kick your arse out and ban your sorry hide from ever stepping foot here again. 4. Respect me, the waiting staff, and your fellow customers. And finally, if you want to support us, please like, share, and consider subscribing to our channel to help us bring you more stories like this. Here are the links below. Now on to your bloody story. So shut your gab, grab your tankards, and listen. Here goes. Karn left the acolytes bound and gagged and plunged deeper into the cave network. The damp in these passages did not feel like the air around his camp, but rather warm as breath. Hot, moist air condensed in his cold body, trickling down in rivulets like sweat. Faint screams reverberated through the air. The tunnel opened into a vast cavern, which echoed with a cacophony of human misery. On the other side of the crevasse was the Phyrexian staging ground, located in a broad flat area of the cavern floor. Ant-like workers scrambled across the rope bridges strung over the crevasse, carrying meaty gobs, bloody cables, and chunks of flesh over the humans being completed on surgical tables. On the opposite wall of the cavern, the Phyrexian portal ship cut through the darkness like an immense scythe. Coils hung from this structure. The twitching loops' membranous purple gleam reminded Karn of intestines. Shieldred hung suspended in this morass. She was still. Tubes fed reddish and milky substances into her black segmented body. The mandibles that extended down from her thorax lay open, relaxed. Her humanoid torso, welded to the thorax's top, lay nested in a thick network of wreathing, inky lines. A horned mask obscured her face. Beneath her, worshippers clung together and raised their voices in an ecstatic paean. The defunct Phyrexian portal ship and Shieldred's sleeping form dominated the cavern. Acolytes in the grey robes of the Society of Mishra attended surgical machines that converted struggling people into Phyrexian abominations. Completed monstrosities dotted the cavern's floor like grotesque artworks skittering on too many limbs. More acolytes stacked weapons beside the Phyrexian sky ship. Teams of splicers scaled the dragon engine to repair it, so small that their welding torches seemed like white stars against the engine's metal skeleton. It found the staging ground of the Phyrexian invasion. A single figure attended Shieldred, a young woman with platinum-brown skin and dark umber curls, wore the cloak of the Talarian Academy. When she turned, Karn saw the red dot from a mechanical eye. Below, an acolyte hurried forward and offered up gobbets of flesh. The young women sorted through them, twisting some into the morass that supported Shieldred. Karn traced the line of acolytes carrying materials from the immense monstrosity to Shieldred and her helper. She was mining the monstrosity to repair Shieldred's damaged biological components. If the other planeswalkers could see this now, they'd know that Karn's fears were true. Joyra would say, no. It didn't matter what Joyra would say. Karn faced this threat alone. He needed to alert the others, yes, but neither could he leave this staging ground intact. He had to destroy the Phyrexians before they could defend themselves. This course of action decided, Karn held out his hand, palm up. He raised his other hand above it. He visualized the incendiary device he planned to generate from the inside out. He could see it, every component, its chemicals laid out like a dimensional blueprint. His fingertips buzzed with the magic of his creation. The layers of material accumulated in mid-air. It was no Silex, but it would end Shieldred. The klaxon filled the cavern with its high-pitched holler. Karn located its source as acolytes, worshippers, and Phyrexian agents paused in their work. The female acolyte who'd attacked him before was blowing a horn. Either she'd been discovered and freed, or she'd freed herself, a drawback to leaving his attackers alive. The shrill sound prompted action. Acolytes loaded weapons into the sky ships. Phyrexian surgeons loaded their bloodied operating tables into sky ships. Others boarded the sky ships, evacuated. Completed Phyrexian monstrosities shuddered to life, metal fibers snaking out from their bodies. Others slumped to the floor. Claw-like limbs exploded from their abdomens, and their gaping mouths opened blindly, like reptiles scenting for prey. A red beam dotted Karn's chest. Karn dropped flat to the rock just as a bolt of electricity flew overhead. He pressed his palms to the ground, lifting himself high enough to crawl forward. At the cliff's edge, he peered to the cavern's floor, trying to locate the blast's origin. The Dominarian, who aided Shieldred, leveled the glaive at him. She had replaced her eye with a miniaturized ray cannon, and its red beam hit Karn. Karn rolled to the side. A crackle exploded the rock beside him. Smoke whisked up from where he'd once lay. Completed Phyrexians swarmed toward him, and the Dominarian smiled. She placed a hand on Shieldred's limp claw. Shieldred remained limp, inert, as if she were under sedation while the young women worked to restore her, and vulnerable. And Karn still held his incendiary device. The nearest bridge over the Shieldred was close but narrow. 12 ecstatic worshippers and the young women with the glaive blocked his access to the Praetor. But Shieldred seemed some distance from the Phyrexians and Dominarian acolytes located on the cavern floor. If Karn was quick, he would not have to battle through all Shieldred's followers to attack her. Just the 12 worshippers, the Dominarian making it 13. Karn pushed himself to his feet and charged down the narrow stone bridge. Shieldred's worshippers seized their paean and launched themselves toward him. 2 reached the bridge. Karn shouldered them aside into crevices abyss. The other worshippers crowded themselves into a blockade. 2 had leveled spears at him, which would have kept him at bay had he been a creature with flesh. Puncturing weapons annoyed him only if the shafts or blades became trapped in his joints and inhibited his range of motion. Similarly, the 2 young men with rotating saws did not give him pause. Those blades would glance from his body. No, Karn focused on the worshippers who wielded the pistol chisels and welding torches. It all came back to him so easily. He felt numb, deficient, as Urza made him. Karn stopped an inch away from the spear points. The worshippers shifted, uneasy. Karn took one step forward, seized a spear, and lifted. The worshipper, still clinging to his weapon, gaped and dangled. Karn swung him into foes, sweeping several off the bridge and breaking up their blockade. Then he tossed the spear wielder into the crevice's depths, the man's screams fading as he fell. The other spear wielder, an older woman, jammed her spear point to a gap in his torso. Although he held an incendiary device, he cracked the spear shaft by hammering his fist down, breaking it off inside himself. He'd deal with that later. He grabbed the broken shaft end, which she still held, and used it to swing her aside. She fell and crumpled. Only 6 combatants remained. The wielder of rotating saw swung their buzzing instrument at Karn's head. Karn stepped back to evade. Before the saw could come around again, he stepped within the wielder's range and removed the tool from the man's fingers. The man tried to resist, but Karn had overwhelming strength on his side. Prying away the man's grip was disturbingly easy. Karn lifted him and tossed him into 2 more worshippers. The force crunched all 3 to the floor in a sickening confusion of broken limbs. The piston chisel wielder rushed him from the side. The chisel thunk into Karn, then skidded down his arm, throwing its user off balance. Karn punched him. The man went flying. The remaining 2 worshippers fled. Their fate was not so great in the face of such bodily harm. All these humans, even with the Phyrexian alterations, were no sturdier to him than butterflies. Karn wished it were not so easy. He strode to Shieldred. She hung limp within her cradle, but no longer quiescent. Her segmented limbs twitched like an arachnid's as she emerged into consciousness. Her human torso atop her thorax shivered. Her long fingers reached downward to the young woman in the Tolarian robes, but she did not seem aware. Not yet. Karn, the Tolarian spoke with contempt. I've heard a lot about you.
How so?
Her gaze flicked to Shieldred's inert form, then returned to him. You aren't as impressive as I've been led to believe. Karn walked toward Shieldred, the incendiary device in his hand.
Who are you?
Karn asked the Tolarian.
Why would you bring this here?
Rona, and this, she gestured to Shieldred, is Dominaria's salvation. Rona positioned herself between Karn and Shieldred, glaive held easy and at an angle in her palms. Rona's flesh eye narrowed while her mechanical socket focused its laser into Karn's torso. She flexed her hands around her glaive, its blade brightened, crackling with blue electricity. She smiled.
I do not wish to fight you.
Karn told her. Aw, too bad. Rona levered her glaive at him, and electricity burst from her blade. Right, I'm done here. Now, what are you waiting for? Go on, Darren. The bar will have to continue the story another day if he is here. I'm about to close up shop. Oi. Pay up your tab. Alright, good. Until next time. No. There won't be a next time. Next time, Mordecai the Bard will be the one who's gonna be telling you these stories. And hopefully, do what I paid him to do. Not to go gallivanting around some made-up holiday just to get away from his job. Now goodbye, and good riddance. Bloody bastard of a bard, solid bard my arse.